Welcome to Reading the Bible with Pastor. Today we're on John chapter 8. But before we begin, most Bibles will have this little text included. The earliest manuscripts do not include chapter 7:53 through 8, verse 11. This is to say that as they were digging up these pieces of works that were older, they didn't include this section. But we still use this as it describes a meaningful event in the life of Jesus and his ministry, and does teach us about his work. And here we learn about the forgiving nature of God. So we'll start with the last verse of chapter 7, then move to chapter 8. They went each to his own house, but Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. Early in the morning he came again to the temple. All the people came to him, and he sat down and taught them. The scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in adultery, and placing her in the midst, they said to him, "Teacher, this woman has been caught in the act of adultery. Now in the law of Moses commanded us to stone such a woman. What do you say?" The people are referring to maybe a section like Deuteronomy 22, verse 22. If a man is found lying with a woman of another man, both of them shall die, the man who lay with the woman and the woman. So you shall purge the evil from Israel. This continues talking about a betrothed virgin, and if a man were to lie with her as well. So the punishment is death. But we continue with verse 6. This they said to test him, that they might have some charge to bring against him. The test here might be that only the woman was brought before him to be stoned to death, or that she may have been Roman, which, just like Paul used, only the Roman state could condemn a person to death if they were a Roman citizen. But either way, the Jews then had intentions of trapping Jesus so that they may have a way of charging him with some type of crime. Jesus bent down and wrote with his finger on the ground. As they continued to ask him, he stood up and said to them, "Let him who is without sin among you be the first to throw a stone at her." And once more he bent down and wrote on the ground. But when they heard it, they went away one by one, beginning with the older ones, and Jesus was left alone with the woman standing before him. Jesus stood up and said to her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" She said, "No one, Lord." And Jesus said, "Neither do I condemn you. Go, and from now on sin no more." Interestingly here, Jesus was last to leave, and he was the only one who legitimately could say he had no sin and could punish her, to enact judgment on her by stoning her. But he doesn't. He gives her the chance to repent and move away from her sin and towards him and his forgiveness. We'll pick up next time with John chapter 8, starting at verse 12.